Hey, welcome back, Gamma Bombs. I'm Andy,
Mike.
and welcome back to Geek Salad's Road to the Infinity War, where we're going to start talking about the second movie in the MCU series, The Incredible Hulk.
The one that's still part of the MCU despite a few minor changes.
It's there. It came out the same summer as Iron Man, actually just a couple weeks after Iron Man.
I know that blows my mind.
Yeah, because
They had
it's directed
planning.
by Louis.
They had planning
What's that?
going on. They had
Yeah,
planning.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is directed by Louis Leterrier, who went on to do the Now You See Me movies,
You know, he did the second one
and
too.
yeah, he
Ugh.
also I think he did one of the Clash of the Titans movies. Actually, I think he might have done the first Clash of the Titans movie.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is what I'll remember him for.
Yeah.
Um, and it stars Edward Norton, Liv Tyler, William Hurt, Tim Roth, and Tim Blake Nelson, veritable who's who of who's who.
Yeah. I mean, you just hear that cast and like, wow, I know one of them, maybe two.
Oh, I know
No,
everybody,
yeah.
not based on where we should know them from this point. I mean, think about it. The MCU has changed so much. It's hard to remember that Edward Norton was originally your Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so far the only callback to that movie that they've
Yeah.
done is what's his name is Thunderbolt Ross.
William Hurt came back for as Thunderbolt Ross for like 3 minutes of screen time on Civil War, and that's the closest thing that ties the movies together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is kind of a weird movie because it really kind of feels like a Marvel also ran. It grossed the least amount of money out of any Marvel movie, $138 million domestic. Essentially, it cleared as much money as the original Hulk, which everybody hates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, this one is so much better than the Hulk.
Oh God, it is all right. And that brings us to our first talking point. What worked about this movie? The lack of a prolonged origin.
Oh yeah, it was done. It was over in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it was all done. It was all done in the opening credits,
which was genius.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. So now it's just Bruce Banner having to learn how to live with it and control this. I mean, they treat it like a disease. They treat being the Hulk like it's a disease, and he's constantly monitoring it the same way some people monitor blood sugar.
Yeah, he's got that wristwatch to tell him when his heartbeat's getting too high and is getting in the danger zone.
Yep. And I honestly think that Edward Norton is a very effective Bruce Banner.
He was not the issue I had. He was not an issue I had with this movie.
No, not at all.
I prefer Mark Ruffalo, but for what this movie needed him to be, I thought Edward Norton was a fine Banner.
Right. I mean, Mark Ruffalo is always going to go down as our Michael Keaton Batman. You know, it's like he's hashtag my Bruce Banner.
Does that make Edward Norton Adam West?
Maybe not. I put him in more the Affleck end of things. It's like
maybe
you can kind of tell that he kind of wants to be there, but at the same time has been beaten down so badly. He's like, I just don't find this fun anymore.
Yeah. Oh, he certainly didn't find it fun after the movie was over.
No, we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Liv Tyler was okay as Betty Ross. He wants to say Betsy Ross, but it's Betty.
For some reason, I'd always
thought Betsy Ross sewed the American flag. Betty Ross was the most love interest.
Gee, I wonder what if Stanley meant for that to happen.
And, honestly, if I were going to take anything out of the Ang Lee Hulk and bring it into this movie, I would have honestly preferred Sam Elliott as Thunderbolt Ross just because his mustache.
He's a much more grizzled much more grizzled Thunderbolt Ross than William Hurt was.
Right. I also have to say I really enjoyed Tim Roth.
He was an effective villain, quasi villain.
Quasi villain. He's the effective narrative protagonist of the movie.
He's the foil, yeah.
Right. The issue is that I preferred it better before he became Abomination.
You know what? I didn't have an issue with Abomination.
All right. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the next set of talking points. But as Emil Blonsky, I felt that he was really good, like that grizzled old merc.
I actually understood where he was coming from. He's just like this, soldier getting towards the end of his kind of operational lifespan,
right.
And he's now engulfed in this world where there's men in flying suits of armor and giant green giants that can punch a building
green giants
that can punch a building down, and he's feeling like not only is he's getting up there, but now the world is just kind of surging past him, and
the world passed me by.
He's just fighting to try and keep relevant.
Yeah. I really like that aspect of it. All right, which brings us to what didn't work. The end scene, man. I get heavy eyelids at the end confrontation every single time I watch this movie.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you. I actually the ending climax, the big fight battle, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fitting climax of this movie.
I've seen worse. I'm not going to say it's like the worst thing I've seen, but in terms of just overall climaxes, I kind of wanted more than just watching two CG creations beat the crap out of each other.
But what CG creations, though, right? Come on.
Hey, you know what? They got the texturing right, and it didn't look like they used MS Paint to get the purple pants on them.
And I don't get what the fight is over. Abomination should look like a giant fish creature, because that makes complete sense, right?
And I actually didn't take any issue with his overall character design. I thought that worked well. If it's going to be an abomination, let it terrify the shit out of me, you know? Let him have one shoulder bigger than the other. And, oh, hey, look, those are your trapezoids. Great. Or your trapezius muscles. God, I should know better.
Yeah, I mean,
so there's.
For me, the negatives was Liv Tyler was more. It was Liv Tyler on screen. I didn't really see Betty Ross.
That's Liv Tyler, and and the thing is too is that Betty Ross is a thankless character.
She really is.
Jennifer Connelly had a goddamn Oscar, and she's still going to breathe life into that character. Betty Ross is like. This is why in subsequent movies. She's not there. In Marvel Comics, they pretty much she's one of those few Marvel characters that died and never came back.
She has come back.
I'm sure she's come back at least twice.
Now she's the Red She-Hulk.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, Thunderbolt Ross is the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
So Betty Ross came back as the Red She-Hulk.
Okay.
Which I think if they put it into a future, if they for somehow get the distribution rights back from Paramount.
Universal actually did this one.
I think they should totally do a Hulk and She-Hulk versus Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk.
I could see that. It's really the only way I think that they could get another solo Hulk movie to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering they're already kind of using up all the Planet Hulk stuff.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing, too, and this is not so much... I mean, the execution in this movie is 1,000-fold better than Hulk.
Yeah,
it just is. It just is. But there's so much filler. There's so much just looking, off a cliff into, at the moon, feeling forlorn that... it just seems that when any action happens, it's like it's a treat. It's a little bonbon you get to unwrap and enjoy until you're back to like, oh, I'm so sad.
There is a lot of filler. I think for me, the filler sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
The stuff with Samson,
Doc Samson.
Doc Samson, yeah. For one, I thought he was miscast.
All right, now are you talking about Doc Samson, his therapist, or are you talking about the guy who would become the leader, Tim Blake Nelson's character?
No, I'm talking about Doc Samson, the therapist.
Okay, all right.
As a therapist, it worked, but as Doc Samson, as he becomes in the comics, nope.
It's one of those. It's just like remember we talked about last week with Iron Man, how before it became the entry, the gateway into the MCU, it was essentially it's a Marvel movie with a bunch of Marvel Easter eggs.
Yeah.
This movie is loaded with those.
That is true. That is true.
No real gateway to the MCU. I mean, they talk about how the whole reason why the whole experiment happened was because they're trying to replicate the
super soldier
serum. You've got appearances by Doc Samson, who's another gamma strong guy. The leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which could have that was like their entryway to a sequel that never happened and won't happen now.
No. Not now that Disney's got it.
No. But it's there isn't enough to dislike about this movie to completely disqualify it.
No, I honestly, it's not high on my list, but that's primarily because, I mean, there's just so many great movies in the MCU. I still really enjoy this movie. It is by no means my least favorite of Phase 1.
Right. Right, exactly. And then, all right, so in terms of how it holds up in comparison to the MCU, it obviously wasn't written to fit in. This was something that the last minute they tacked on that mid-credit sequence to tie Tony Stark into it.
Yeah. Just so
at the very end.
Yeah, just so they could say, hey, it's part of the same universe. We're building towards something.
Right.
Great. Yeah. And they're building towards something in the same way that they threw in the end credit sequence at the end of Iron Man. Right now, they're just they haven't really started really tying them together yet. The next movie will do that.
Yeah, and the thing too is that now you can see where they went back and retrofitted Incredible Hulk into it.
Yeah.
With Thunderbolt Ross being part of it. And that's about all you need for your narrative thread. Now that we've got Mark Ruffalo in his 4th appearance as Bruce Banner, going into his 5th when we get to Infinity War, we obviously have a solid Banner. Now we have a solid Hulk character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll say that thing that doesn't hold up well about this movie is that Hulk, while it's cool to watch, he's not fun to watch the way that MCU Avengers Hulk.
Yeah, this Hulk is a far cry from the Hulk we get in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, or even Avengers. Just go, flash forward 5 years.
Yeah,
or
Hulk
years rather. Yes, exactly. But there were some cool things with that Hulk. The whole thing with his interaction with Loki and the tossing him like a ragdoll. You didn't really get that with the Norton Hulk.
Yeah, but I mean, well, you weren't a fan of his the final climactic battle, the kind of showdown inside that soda factory. I thought that was pretty cool. How they kept him in the shadows.
That was pretty cool, and that's a really good way of revealing. Giving you the reveal without giving away too much. Because even though you're familiar with what the character looks like, I really feel that every superhero movie needs a good reveal. And I just started watching. Now, keep in mind, I'm watching this in small breaks at work through Showbox. But I started watching Justice League, and it's like every superhero reveal has been pissed away as an establishing shot. Every single one of them. But with the soda factory, it's just the shadow. And just like the hand grabbing people out of the way, grabbing them.
Yeah.
And all of that until you finally get the reveal. And even that reveal isn't the whole Hulk yet.
No, it's just the Hulk's face coming out of it. Just seeing the light coming in there. Just and
Yeah.
then he runs away.
Right. So, and that's how you do it.
Yeah.
But
Shall we talk about how why we don't have Edward Norton anymore?
go ahead.
Apparently he did a lot of rewriting on the script, but he didn't get any credit for it.
Okay.
And then apparently afterwards he wanted not only credit, but he wanted a cut of the box office, I think.
Joke's on you, buddy. We didn't make any money on this one.
Yeah, I might be getting some of the details wrong, but needless to say, there was not a lot of happy thoughts between Edward Norton and Marvel.
Right. And that, what the funny thing too, now that it's kind of occurring to me now about 2008 in general, this is the same year that DC released The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But Marvel was still doing that uphill battle of, brand supremacy. And while Iron Man is considered one of the all-time classics, this one is definitely an also ran.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I don't think anybody really hates this movie.
I don't think anybody hates this movie either, but if it's not your bottom MCU movie, it's usually second or third from the bottom.
It's very few people I think would put this in their top 10.
Right. And I think that your where your placement is on the bottom of it is dependent on how you feel about the other two Iron Man or the first two Thor movies.
Yeah. Like I said, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought a lot of the jokes were really well. Like me in a confined tube in the middle of the most aggressive city in the world.
Yeah.
Let's take a taxi.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. I mean, definitely its place in the MCU is just that. It's a placeholder for something else to come along.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next week's show when we talk about Iron Man 2, the commercial.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Again, depending on how you rank your bottom 5.
Yeah. I don't think that one's going to be in anyone's top 10.
No, I don't believe so either. So, anything else to say about Hulk, Mike, or Incredible Hulk? Gotta keep it straight.
I really enjoyed it. It is definitely one I will go back to and watch a lot more often than I'll go back and watch say the next movie we cover.
No, that's true. So, if you like this, please subscribe to our Geek Salad channel here on YouTube. Also, feel free to leave a comment if we forgot anything, we missed anything, if you think that we're just full of shit. Also, you can check out our show, Geek Salad, which is a podcast that you can download either at iTunes or the Stitcher app, or go right to our website, geeksalad.podbean.com. I believe we're recording next week as well.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I think that is the plan. So we are going to be talking about musicals. Something completely different from what we're doing right now.
Well, I don't know. I could really go for an Incredible Hulk the musical.
Well, we never did get that Captain America on Broadway. So, all right. So definitely check us out next week when we do Iron Man 2.